I watched a film yesterday because it was on TV, and the film was Dear John, which I think is a Nicholas Sparks film. Um, I like the film Safe Haven, which is a Nicholas Sparks film, but I don't think I like Dear John. Um, I was watching it, and I was thinking, I don't know, it's more difficult to get involved with those characters in Dear John than in Safe Haven. I just try to work it out, and I think, I'll start. The premise of Dear John is that John is this character who comes into town. He doesn't know very many people, and this girl, he rescues her bag because it falls off a pier, and so he gets to know her over these 2 weeks that he's there, before he gets deployed, because he's in the army, and they write letters to each other when he is, and it's supposed to be all romantic because they're writing letters to each other back and forth and so forth. But when I was watching it, I was thinking she only knew him for 2 weeks when he was home before he was deployed, and in those 2 weeks he wasn't a nice person, really. He was violent. He hit 3 people. She heard from the bartender that he had a violent past. He didn't seem to care about his father, stuff like that. He's not a character that you think, oh, he really cares about stuff. She is. She's doing charitable work and stuff like that, and she wants to work for autistic children and stuff like that. But he's this guy she barely knows, who's violent, and yet she falls in love with him and writes to him and so forth. There's also mentioned her ex-boyfriend, who for some reason is hanging around, getting his nose in everything. Once again, he doesn't seem a great guy. He's getting his nose in everything and all busybody, even though he isn't her boyfriend, and she doesn't seem to want him around all in her business. And then while John is at war, she breaks up with him and goes out with someone who seems to be only going out with her to find a guardian for his children because he's dying. And so at the end of the film, I was thinking she just went out with 3 guys who were just terrible for her, basically. She went out with one guy who was completely controlling in her business. She went out with John, who was violent, and then she goes out with someone who's dying and leaves her with a child who isn't hers. So it's just 3 terrible relationships there. I don't know. There's not something lovable about this film. I didn't really think, wow, I really want her to get with John and them to be together because, you know, this is a great relationship. I thought, no, it's kind of unhealthy. He's violent. I mean, he should start over somewhere else and not be violent towards people, I guess. But I don't know, I didn't really think, wow, she should be with him, because I thought, wow, he's been violent around her. So, no. There wasn't any guys in her life where I thought, wow, she should be with them. Exactly. Maybe she should look for a guy who wasn't in the film. I don't know.